Hey guys, Jim here, and I'm going to do a quick little overview video on my brand new arrival. It just arrived at the door about 10 minutes ago. This is the Curtis Knives F3 in the 3.5 inch. Dave was really cool to do it custom for me, a little bit different. Right now mine is the only one like this, but unfortunately now that I'm kind of showing it to people, other people are going to do it. He had actually never heat anodized anything into this bronze finish before. I know that after I had made this request and after he began working on it, he did fulfill 2 orders for people where they had their scales done in that bronze, but they actually came after this order. So I really wanted a two-tone look. I wanted mine to stand out and be different. That was the whole key, because once I announced to a few of my friends that I was going to be getting one of these, and I told them about why and how cool it was, I knew other people were going to order it. So I said, right out of the gate, I'm going to make mine different, where I like to feel special. I like to feel different. My mommy said I'm special. So, Dave wasn't sure how it would turn out, and then after he got it done, when I talked to him, he says, you know what? He goes, I really, really like how that turned out. And I do too. It came out fantastic. I was thinking about doing blue at first, but I didn't want a pimpy kind of look, because the sole reason I bought this was to be a user. This is going to be in the pocket probably more often than any other knife. It's going to be used to cut stuff. So that's the whole idea behind this one. So I kind of wanted to already have almost a weathered look. I went for the all stonewash because, again, I wanted it to kind of mask little marks here and there from carrying it and using it, where I don't feel like it's been devalued because I've got a little nick or scratch in it. I decided to opt for the standoffs instead of the backspacer. I prefer standoffs. Yes, the backspacer was actually an upgrade in this one because that was titanium and these are steel. Excuse me, I had a little yawn there. But I still prefer standoffs anyway. It's a cleaner look. It's easier to keep it clean. I can just very easily get pocket lint or dirt or dust or sand or whatever out of there. Now, the real reason I bought this was at the time when I placed the order. Again, unfortunately, this was a really long time. You've heard me mention this in a few videos and other knives I've received. I bought all of those after I ordered this. There was an issue with the initial order email, and he never got it. Then it took a week to find it when I notified him. Luckily, I notified him because he ended up finding a whole bunch of people's orders that never got past his administrator's server on his website and never went to his email. So some of you that have gotten an F3 in the past few weeks, you might owe me a thank you. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have gotten it. Or at least not as timely. It would have waited till you called. So that stalled things for a bit. My custom touches stalled things for a little bit. And then Dave had a much-deserved vacation coming up. So while most people that ordered theirs around the time that I did got theirs in a week, it took me about 6 weeks. Luckily, I have other knives. But yeah, it was aggravating because I was so excited about getting this. And it was worth the wait. This thing is just fantastic. And the other thing was, at the time, I just wasn't going to spend the money on a Hinderer XM-18. And I'm pretty sure that Dave is tired by now of hearing people compare this knife to the Hinderer. But seriously, look at it. It's almost identical. Very similar in the shape. This is a little bit more straight across the back than the XM-18. The XM-18 has a little bit more curvature. It is a Spanto style blade, albeit a different grind, slightly. His stonewashing is different. There's a lot of differences. When you put this next to a Hinderer, you're going to see and feel the differences. Now, to me, I felt this was the better value. Now, think about this. These were $495 or $499, whatever. They're $500. The XM-18 right now, if you're LEO, if you're emergency services or active military, it's going to cost you $385 plus shipping, $395. We'll call that $400. So this is $100 more. There's a big difference already. With the Hinderers, you only get G10. The option to purchase a titanium side when they're available, and right now they're not, and they haven't been for a while, that was $200. That already makes this $100 less expensive. So value-wise, this beats it. It is a little bit smaller in overall length. Somehow, it feels almost to be the same weight. Lockup is fantastic. Here's a quick look at the lockup. Nice and solid. But here's another reason I love this. Dave does not have to make an excuse about his detent. He doesn't have to put a disclaimer on his website under the service tab where it says you can send your knife in for any kind of, retouching or refinishing or whatnot, but we will not adjust your detent for you. Yeah, Dave doesn't have to because he knows how to make his detent. And I've gone through this. You guys saw my video on my Hinderer XM-24. It's a great knife. Mine luckily broke in nicely. Everybody knows the 3.5 inch and 3 inch XM-18s are plagued with issues. First off, you have to break it in. You have to flip it 100 or 200 times, whatever they say, to get it to break in where it actually flips. Otherwise, you'll hit that flipper, and it's hard for me to try to do this without actually opening it. It's not going to. It opens so well. You'll hit that flipper, and it does this. And it'll do this for the first 100 times you go to flip it. And then it'll get a little bit better. And then finally, at some point, it might actually flip. Hey, guess what? I've had this out of the box for about 5 minutes. It flies open. It has a rock solid detent. The blade is not going to flip out on its own. It's got a nice break. If I had to guess, I obviously don't have a way to measure it here. If I had to guess, it's probably about a 5-pound break. And it takes almost no effort. It's in there solid. And it works fantastically. We'll show the detent as it... Oh man, that is smooth. Click right back in. So that was another thing for me. If I'm buying a flipper, it damn well better flip. And you've heard me say this before. That's the way it should be. So already this thing is, to me, a better option and a better value. Everybody's going to have their own arguments on either side. That's fine. It's great to have your own opinion. I'd love to hear yours. But having the Hinderer and having this, I prefer this. That's just kind of where I'm at. He has a huge, it's like, you want to call it a choil? I guess you could. You can fit 2 fingers in there. You have no forward choil though. You can't choke up on this or you're going to hit the lead-in on the blade, and the lead-in is sharpened like the rest of the blade. But it's super easy to get your finger in here to that lock bar. Now, as far as the pivot goes, it's absolutely brilliant. It's one thing that does many jobs, the spot pivot. Oversized, very tough pivot, IKBS. And that explains the fluidity in which it opens. And it just caught up on my hand. Sorry, I was holding it wrong. Absolute fluidity. Also, this is your internal blade stop. Notice there's no stop pin anywhere. Not for opening or closing. You don't have thumb studs on here that hit the frame. It's all done internally. Think of it this way. There's basically a notch that's cut out of the blade stock. And there's a rod, a 1/8 inch steel rod running through here in this pivot. And it stops the blade in this direction, and it stops the blade in this direction. So it can't over travel in either direction. So now you've eliminated all these extra pieces and parts and eliminated extra screw holes and everything else in the frame. Cleans everything up. And also, it acts as your lock bar over travel prevention. So whereas Hinderer or many other brands would have that Hinderer style lock bar stabilizer there, you've got it up here. All in one piece. All in your pivot. That is friggin' brilliant. Dave's a hell of a knife maker. He really is, and a hell of a nice guy. I've had a few wonderful, lengthy conversations with the man. He is a breath of fresh air, I'll tell you that. I will certainly be spending more money with him. Dave, if you're watching, and I certainly hope that you are, I'm putting in my request now, please tool up for the BMF again. I want a BMF, please. And I'm probably going to end up ordering a 4-inch version of this because I just feel like I kind of have to have it. I really do. As far as sharpness goes, Dave and I discussed my want and desire for an insanely sharp knife. And he says, you don't have to custom request that because I make everything insanely sharp. Let me grab a piece of paper, hold on. Sorry about that, I wasn't very prepared, but this has become kind of a thing lately people have been asking about. And by the way, this is all, I'm not having to slice. Standard push cut. Okay, so I tore it at the end. There you go. Very simply put, I'm kind of leaning at an awkward angle over my tripod, so excuse me at the very end of each of those strokes where I might be tearing, but it slices right through. It push cuts. I don't have to actually slide it across the paper. He did a great job sharpening. This is going to be an EDC. This is really meant for me to use, abuse, beat up. And I'm so glad, I'm so glad that it actually flips as well as I've heard from everybody else. So there's a quick look at my beauty. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about the F3. There are a lot of reviews online about the F3. So this is just basically kind of an overview and my thoughts. Like I said, I have my 3.5-inch XM-18 on the way to me. I've already sold my XM-24. It just wasn't that impressive to me. You know, that's just kind of the way it is. That's what that XM-24 is what helped me get my dire wear, and the dire wear is, in my opinion, 5 times the knife. So, but anyway, I'll be able to do a comparison. If you guys want to see it, let me know. I'll do a comparison side by side with this in the 3.5-inch XM-18. But already, after owning the XM-24, this is the clear winner. For me, this is the clear winner. It's a better value. It's a better performer straight out of the box. It feels every bit as tough. It does feel different in the hand. It doesn't have the same feeling, and I don't really know how to properly convey that in words. You almost really do have to feel that for yourself. But it is a little bit different how it feels in the hand. That thing is amazing. So it's going to be joining a wonderful collection of flippers. And I feel that it lives up to every one of them. Even though it doesn't cost anywhere near as much. And it certainly flips a lot better than my Crusader Forge does, doesn't it? So yeah, I certainly love my flippers and I love my F3. If you guys have been thinking about getting one, you're kind of maybe on the edge, not really sure, or you're gonna hold out and get a Hinderer. I'm not saying don't get a Hinderer. Hinderer is a fantastic friggin' knife. You should own a Hinderer. But I think if you could only afford one, I would suggest the Curtis. That's just me. And this is an unsolicited evaluation. Certainly Dave is not gonna, probably approve of somebody comparing his knife directly to Rick's and, saying don't buy Rick's and buy mine. I'm sure they're probably wonderful friends. This is my personal opinion. I would much rather have this. And you know what? I didn't have to fight a detent issue with there being too light of a detent, too strong of a detent. I didn't have to go to some other online shop and buy different standoffs and pocket clip or whatever else. Because the other thing that kind of irked me when, as my order is going through direct with Rick Hinderer, the email that comes back to you says, you have no options. Your options are these scale colors, that's it. We will do no embellishments, we will do no customizations. And I get that because he's on a time frame, there's only so many he can make. But you are supposed to be a custom knife manufacturer. If I can't make the simplest of requests, yes, I know I can't ask for a certain grind and I can't do that. I get that, man. But don't tell me, no, from the get-go. You can't have anything that you want except for these colors and the scales. If I was buying just a strict production knife, which again, that's argued as well, is the XM series a production knife or a mid-tech or a custom? It's a mid-tech. That's the way it is. And as a mid-tech, I should be able to order, a little thing here or there. Not going to happen. So, yeah, I'm very happy with this. I see a 4-inch in my future. And Dave, please make the BMF again. and I'll have a BMF in my future. All right, so I'm going to cut it off there and let you guys go. Thank you all so much for watching, as always. I got a whole ton of new subscribers out of nowhere. You guys really rock. I really appreciate the support and you spreading the word. Thank you very, very much. Every time you guys like my video, you know, people see that and they come over and they, out of their curiosity, check me out and then they subscribe. And I really appreciate you guys for doing that for me. So again, thank you very much. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.